Hi and welcome back to the shed. Right, so dip beam blew on the Bandit, and it turns out that this particular bulb, although I recognise it and I've seen many of these over the years, is no longer easily available. So I've ordered another headlight off eBay, and I was just going to put that in as a straight replacement, but then I started thinking, well, you know, for quite some time I've wanted to do something slightly different with the front end of the Bandit, and this seems the obvious time to do it. Now, I've given it a lot of thought about different things to be doing, but really what I need to do now is to whip the current headlight off and have a look at what I've got. Now, I've got a couple of bits of inspiration. I rather like what Mackie Bass has been doing with his cafe seat on his XV750. And particularly the support brace with his devil horns, rather liking that, something similar to that as the new headlamp support bracket. Anyway, so let's get into this and see what it looks like without the current headlight on. Anyway, that's got to come off because there's a replacement coming. So the headlight I picked up for cheap off eBay, damaged. Turns out to have a couple of issues, not least of which I need a bulb, although I can get a bulb. But it's going to take a little bit of fitting, so I'm undecided whether I'm going to go with this headlight, which I'm not that much of a fan of, to be honest, but it could be okay, or get another one, or try and find a bulb for the one that was on there. That's also possible, and no reason why I can't if I can figure out what the bulb is. Frankly, I'm just having difficulty trying to find what bulb it was that's in there, but possibly doable. Or there's always this. I fancy giving this a go in the short term. This isn't going to stay on there unless I happen to fall in love with it, because it doesn't quite work for me. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's a bit too angular for me, and the rest of the bike isn't angular. The rest of the bike is a bit round and this is very square, sort of. Swinging arm square. Anyway, I think I'm going to have a go at fitting this, and then I'm going to sort out what I'm doing with the front headlight and build the mounts that I want to build for it. I have something in mind and it's going to take a little while to do, so this is going on. Let's see how this works. So here we are, front of the bike stripped down. I've taken my screen off here for the time being, and I've mounted this in here. Previous headlight was mounted on these standard side mount headlight, but one of the issues I got with the side mount with the fork mounted headlight is all of this, because what it means is every time you turn the forks, all that wiring has to turn with it. And this is designed for the Bandit S, so it's a half fairing, and so there's just masses of this crap, and it creaks and it rubs, and it's really not looking very healthy. In there, you can't really see in this light, but in here it's the wires are all getting damaged from the constant rubbing here against this retaining wire, and it's just crap. If I had a frame mounted headlight, okay, it wouldn't turn, but who gives a shit when you're riding? It doesn't matter anyway. And all of this would stay nice and still and not move. The only things that would be moving are the control cables and stuff. So I've mounted on this bracket that Dell used to mount the headlight. I've plugged in the headlight unit and it all works, so the bulb's all okay. There are going to be a few issues. I'm going to have to move things around a bit, but first things first is to remount the indicators into the new headlight unit. Now I remember why I had them taped on. It's because the thread is stripped in here. I wonder whether it's a nut or the thing. Maybe they're going to get taped on again. Oh well, time to take it off. Let's have another look. A couple of washers and a new larger nut seem to have got rid of the problem with the strip threads. Let's get on with the other side. Well, this one didn't work too well. That one's broken. So, looks like we'll be resorting to some tape for a while. At least until I get some new indicators. Looks like I need new indicators, regardless of what headlight unit I'm running on this. Oh well. Right, there are a few fitment issues here that I need to sort out. Things like this brake hose is now a little bit fouling where it wasn't before, particularly this clutch hose in that case. This brake hose, the routing was fine with the old headlight, but it's not really working with the new one, so I'll have to adjust the angle up at the ends and just tie it in a bit so that it's not fouling, because this, as the headlight turns backwards and forwards, or the forks turn backwards and forwards, you can see the brake hose is interfering with the headlight there. So simple enough to get it out of the way, but it's that sort of just checking the cabling all works and stuff. Otherwise it's on the bike and it clears the clocks. Just a very tight fit, but it clears them. I mean, bear in mind this headlight unit was designed to be used without these, so I'm not sure whether Dale actually built it and checked with the clocks on. I'm guessing he must have done, because it just fits. So well, it works well. Sort of. So we'll give that a go whilst I review my plans for building a new headlight bracket unit, which is more in keeping with what I have in mind for the bike. So the things about this that I love, I really like this. I like the way it sits here, but that's sort of mirrors what I had before. I like this, I like here, I like the holes, I like decoration. I like the way that the line of this matches the forks. I'm not a fan of the fact that this is square here and doesn't match to anything. I like the holes, I like the edge on it. Needs a bit of finishing in here if I was to keep it, I think, but yeah, I don't know. I could grow to love it, I guess, but there's aspects of it I love, and other bits, mainly that square headlight, it doesn't really go for me. The rest of the bike is all round, except for the swinging arm, which is square, but the rest of the bike's all curves. Everything around it is curves, and then you've got this big lozengey shape thing here. I think there's definitely things I hear I can copy and learn from. That in there, those wires. Now I haven't tried to tidy them up or anything, so they are as they are for the moment. Okay, let's give it a test ride, see what falls off. Well, that was a bit of an unexpected turn of events. I hadn't really expected to go from a blown bulb to putting Damage's old headlight back on. There are some things about that headlamp unit that I love, and from certain unit angles it looks great, but on the whole, no, I don't think it's going to stay on there, not in the long term. There are some teething issues that would need to be sorted out because it was never actually used in anger, and the build was never fully finished. So there are some teething issues that need to be sorted out if it was to stay on there, but it'll at least allow me to ride the bike until I can actually start working on a replacement for the headlight mounting. I have an idea in mind what I want to do. The way I'd like to do it I can't really do because I don't have the tools, so I'm going to be going, I think, the box section technique, and see what I can do with that. As I say, I've got some ideas whether I can get it stable enough and strong enough to do what I want without suffering some of the problems which that has got at the moment, which is lack of stability. But it's a good lesson, and I'm glad that I put that on there because I now know it's an issue that I need to address, or reminded me that it's an issue I need to address, and better to do that at the design stage than trying to bodge it after I've actually built something to hold it on. It's not so much the headlight unit, is I want to get the screen back on. I want to mount the screen properly this time, or preferably build a new screen. And it's also taught me that what I want is a frame mounted headlight, largely because of the cabling. It probably looks better, perhaps it looks, well, I don't know whether it does or doesn't, we'll see anyway. But because of the cabling, I want something that is frame mounted. I may do something on the forks. I have something in mind I want to do with the bike, but I can't quite visualize how I want it yet, so some more thinking on that. But anyway, bike's now back on the road with a different headlight, and on to the planning for the next part. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys again next time.